Okay. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Hold on. Good afternoon. This open meeting of the Board of Appeals is being conducted hybrid pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, the Town of Nantucket Board of Appeals is convening in person and by using the Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Please note that some attendees are participating by video conference. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless I note otherwise. Okay. So I'm going to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Town of Nantucket Zoning Board of Appeals. Today is Thursday, July 9th. It is 1:04 p.m. Would someone make a motion to approve the agenda as drafted?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so John made that motion, Elisa seconded. All those in favor at the table can say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that is approved. The next section on the agenda is for public comment. This is for items not listed on the agenda and not reasonably expected to be discussed today. Is there anyone in the audience or online who has something to add in the public comment section? Is there anyone online with a hand up?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay, great. So we will move on to approval of the minutes. We have April 9th, 2026 and June 11th, 2026. I did not see any issues with the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review them or have any comments? Okay, seeing none. What, did you have one?
No, let's just give you a motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so John makes the motion, Lisa seconds. All those in favor at the table say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so those minutes are approved. Okay. So I think so for the request for determination of an insubstantial change, do we need to wait for Jim since he sat on this one? Yes.
I just texted him
Billy?
if he's coming.
Unless it's an independent request. I don't know, George, you're on line. Do you want to weigh in on that? Should we wait for Jim? Start that discussion?
It's up to you. Yeah, I don't know how lengthy of a discussion it is. I have no time constraints, so I'm happy to sit and wait for Jim if you'd like. Totally up to you.
Let me just look and see when he texted. So he should be here any minute. The other thing we could do is move on to, well, who's recused from 20260040? Jesse and John. So we need Jim. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we need Jim anyway. Okay. And we need, yeah. All right, everyone. So I guess we'll just
Put the music back on.
put the music back on and
It wasn't
relax
very,
for a while.
it made it feel like such a sophisticated,
Mhm.
yes.
Oh, here he comes. Perfect. Okay. So for the record, Jim Mondani is joining the meeting. It's 1:12. So Jim, we're going to go right to the request for determination of insubstantial change. So this is application 2524, Surfside Crossing LLC, numbers 3, 5, 7, and 9, South Shore Road. It doesn't say who's, if anyone's representing, but I imagine, is Attorney Haverty here? Or is there no one here for this? Okay.
Attorney Haverty is here.
Oh, good. Okay. So to start this off, I'd like to hear from the board about how we want to, or if we want to address this request for determination of insubstantial change at this time. Elisa?
Just some clarification, is this a modification to an open active permit?
Well, the permit is in litigation. So,
So how can we take any action on something that's in litigation?
I would defer to counsel on that. George, do you want to weigh in on the timeliness of this request?
Sure. Good afternoon. This is George Pucci from KP Law, Nantucket Town Council. Good to be with you today. It's a very unusual request because it arises out of a Housing Appeals Committee decision which overturns a zoning board denial of the comprehensive permit. We have filed a lawsuit appealing the HAC decision overturning your decision, and that's pending in Superior Court. We've always taken the position that there's no operative permit if there's a timely zoning board appeal of an HAC order, which in this case there has been. HAC is taking the position, and the reason I'm saying in the present tense is they recently ruled on an issue that was presented to the building commissioner about reinstating the building permits for the community building and the pool that had previously been rescinded. HAC took the position that regardless of the lawsuit, their decision is the operative permit upon which the developer can take action at risk, at risk being if their decision is ultimately overturned in the Superior Court, then whatever they've constructed to date is at risk for that. They've taken that position. We don't agree with it. I also think it's a very unpragmatic way of approaching this because the fact is, in a finite amount of time, that appeal will be resolved one way or another. And we'll have certainty as to whether the HAC decision is affirmed in whole or in part. So in the meantime, the developer submitted this request for an determination of insubstantial change, which doesn't really fit into the framework typically for, a 40B permit, which is typically you'd have a permit that isn't under appeal. They seek to make a change. They submit that to you to determine whether it's substantial or insubstantial. And if you determine it's insubstantial, the permit is so modified. And if you determine if it's substantial, it goes to a public hearing. And you've acted on many of these in other 40B matters that you've had, permitted matters, substantial or insubstantial changes. Here, again, the regulations do not really address the situation that's currently before you, where you have a HAC decision under appeal and you had denied the permit. So really, there's no operative permit for you to be acting on substantial or insubstantial change to that permit. Having said that, the regulations don't provide for anything in this situation. They either you act on it within 20 days, you make a determination if it's substantial or insubstantial, and if you don't act on it within the 20 days, it's deemed insubstantial. So the regulations are pretty black and white about what happens here if you don't make a determination. And then the last element of my long-winded recitation here, and I'm available to answer questions, is this request for an insubstantial change would typically be the type of change that you would make a determination that is insubstantial, and you wouldn't require a public hearing on it. The only twist here is that it's this unusual procedural posture that, from the zoning board's perspective, there's no operative permit. What is it we're acting on? From the applicant's perspective, apparently they think they need this determination at this time. I don't really know why they need it. But in any event, that's where you're at, and again, I can't emphasize enough, it's up to you to make the determination if you act on it, substantial or insubstantial. I can tell you this would typically be the type of change that would be deemed insubstantial, that wouldn't require a public hearing.
Thank you, George. I tend to agree with your analysis and your conclusion about this typically would be something that would fall under the insubstantial category. However, as you stated, we are still in litigation, and the applicant's letter dated June 11th outlines that it remains the applicant's position that the comprehensive permit is the decision issued by the committee, being HAC, which that is the, I guess, crux of the litigation. So from the applicant's position, I can see if they believe that that is the decision, that the comp permit is issued by the committee and that is in place, then I can see why they would think that they could start asking for these determinations, but I'm not sure that the town or the board feels the same way and subscribes to that argument. Jim?
I just had a question for
Sure.
George. George, I don't want to put you on the spot, but would you say that this would go down the line more of a bad faith type of request? I know in the past with other developments, they've granted easements without getting our approval. They've done a lot of other things with their development, yet in this case, they want to change the curbing when they didn't even make anything similar in other developments and even in this one. So in the context of it, of HAC maybe overstepping their authority and them making this request at this point, I mean, I almost think it's a bad faith type of thing, unless they can explain it further.
Is there anybody here representing them?
Attorney Haverty
Oh.
is here. Yeah. I see, Attorney Haverty, you have your hand up. Is there anyone on the board who has anything else I want to say before Jim does? Yeah.
Can you answer that?
Oh, yes. Sorry, George.
Yeah.
Can you answer?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he had a question pending, I'm going to respectfully sort of not duck, but maybe defer answering that. I think I'll leave it to you to make that determination or not. Frankly, I don't understand why this has to be put before you at this time. I'll say that. I can tell you based on the fact that they did get an HAC ruling in their favor, contrary to what we had advised the building commissioner to do, and contrary to the building commissioner's prior finding. They do have an opinion from HAC that that they do in fact have an operative permit under the HAC decision. They have a ruling from HAC, which is not an appellate court, but it is an administrative body that has jurisdiction, limited jurisdiction to the issues within their jurisdiction. So there is a legal analysis that they provided that they do in fact have a quote unquote operative permit that they can be proceeding on. So on that part, definitely they're not in bad faith if that's the position they're taking, because they've at least gotten the HAC to agree with them on it. But aside from that, and more to the point, I think, of your question is, why is the zoning board bothered with this request at this time? Because it doesn't seem like a major thing. Like, in other words, it seems, tied to whatever the economic situation is for the cost of the material at the time that they're installing it. Do they really need to be before you when you've got pending litigation, and it doesn't appear that they need this determination right now? Why are they before you? It makes me scratch my head. Is that bad faith? I don't know. I don't know what their intention is.
I mean, I think your answer to me is, if it's odd to you and you're scratching your head and you represent 40B clients all the time. I interpret this nothing more than something bad faith. We're in litigation. They have not cooperated with us ever on this. And now they're making this relatively minor request when we are in litigation with them. Case law aside, I mean, I think you could distinguish this. Because I haven't looked at the case, nor should we have to. But if the HAC has this authority over us, then it would seem to me that they're saying that we shouldn't be answering to them on anything. It should just be HAC. So you can't play this game. And I know they can't play this game, but they are doing this for bad reasons and to put us in a difficult position. And I'll go on the record as saying that.
Attorney Haverty, I'm gonna, unless anyone has any other questions for George right now, okay, I'm gonna let you speak, and then I think we'll see what the audience has to say, then close the well, it's not even a public hearing, is it? Because we haven't.
This is not a public hearing.
we
This
haven't
is just,
decided if we're either gonna, if we're even gonna hear it. So,
this is not, just to clarify though, this is not a public hearing. This is a discussion item to make the determination or not, or to act on it or not, but it is not a public hearing.
okay, but I can allow Attorney Haverty to speak, correct?
You can allow anybody you want to speak.
Okay, so Attorney Haverty, we'll hear from you if you can sort of respond to the questions and, you know, why you're presenting this, requesting this now, and why you think it's appropriate.
Certainly. For the record, Paul Haverty, Blattman, Bobrowski, Haverty, and Silverstein representing the applicant. There's absolutely nothing about this request that is in bad faith. It's simply the point we are in the process, and it's reflective of the level of scrutiny and just the sort of difficulty we've had throughout the process, that my client is coming forward with this now, rather than simply moving forward and doing what I agree is a relatively minor change from what was originally proposed. We are, in fact, moving forward at risk. We are at the point where we are prepared to start ordering materials for the construction of the curbing of the roadway. My client did not want to take the chance of ordering granite curbing and installing granite curbing without going to this board and getting a formal modification of the permit, because if it were to do so, it could theoretically be put in a position where it could have to remove that granite curbing and replace it with the concrete curbing that is shown on the plans that have been approved by the Housing Appeals Committee. That's all we're doing here. The granite curbing is actually a requirement that you included in your original decision approving the 60-unit development. Because of the fact that that decision was loaded with conditions that rendered the project uneconomic, that was one of the conditions that was objected to. However, in the interim, and this dates back to 2021, when the original hearing before the Housing Appeals Committee occurred, the delta between granite curbing and concrete curbing has come down significantly. So all we're doing is we're looking for the opportunity to provide the type of curbing that the board indicated it wanted when we get to the point where we order this curbing. And we are very, very close to that point. So that's why we did this now, rather than wait for the resolution of the appeals to the Superior Court, which may be finite, but they can also be incredibly lengthy. Because once we get through the Superior Court, there's also the potential for appeals to the Appeals Court. And as we've seen through this process throughout, you never know where things are going to wind up. So we just wanted to make sure that we had properly documented the change from concrete curbing to granite curbing. That's why this particular modification request is in front of the board at this time. It does not in any way, shape, or form compromise the board's position on appeal. You're absolutely within your rights to determine that this proposed change is insubstantial while continuing to object to the decision of the Housing Appeals Committee. There's absolutely nothing even remotely close to bad faith in this, and quite frankly, it's a little bit offensive for Mr. Mandami to suggest otherwise. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who had anything they wanted to add on this? No? Anyone online? No. Okay, so let's discuss amongst the board. What, sorry?
I have a hand
Madam
up
Chair.
online.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I have a hand up online.
okay. May I ask who it is?
Dennis Murphy.
Oh, okay. Okay, Dennis, we'll hear from you and then I want to move on.
Hi, good afternoon. It's Dennis Murphy from Hip Law on behalf of the Land and Water Council. Thanks for the chance to make a quick remark. Just a couple of points. Number one, the permit that is supposedly been ordered by the HAC is the reinstatement of a building permit for a clubhouse and a pool. It has nothing to do with granite curbing. So that work is completely unauthorized. The second point I wanted to make is to remind everyone that in the past, before any building permits were issued or considered, there was a review by your peer review engineer of consistency with the plans. And I don't believe that review has taken place. I also don't believe there has been a water quality certificate issued for the stormwater system. So it may be premature to be installing curbing on a site where there isn't that water quality certificate. And my last point, very briefly, this seems to me to be an effort to get the board to acknowledge the existence of a permit that you haven't acknowledged. By agreeing to modify it, you're tacitly suggesting that there's a permit to be modified, which is inconsistent with the position that the board and my client and others have taken in the litigation. So I would just mention that as a point and appreciate the work that the board does. And thank you for the chance to comment.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Does anyone want to start off with whether they think we should evaluate and even at this point discuss
Madam,
whether to determine?
Madam Chair, I can't get to the substance of the matter without getting through the procedural aspects of it. And I still have a really hard time with the procedure, knowing that our position is that this is all under appeal. And I'm curious if we have a third option of just taking no action on this, because since we don't think that it's timely before us. And perhaps through you, George could weigh in on Plan C.
Yeah, George, if we decide that we want to take no action on this because we are in litigation, and the applicant's already moving forward at risk with everything else they're doing, it seems, it's just interesting that this is the thing that they want to make sure that we're in agreement on when we are, in litigation over the permit, and the changes that were made.
Yeah,
But the
I-
third option.
You could exercise the third option, but just keep in mind that it isn't contemplated under the comprehensive permit regulations. So I'm talking about the 760 CMR, and that just does a very straight box of, it's insubstantial or it's substantial and requires a public hearing. There isn't like a third option under the regulations, but with the unusual posture and the nature of the request that it really isn't a major thing one way or another. If the board wants to take the option, suggested by Mr. Brescher, I don't have an objection to you doing that. I wouldn't give you a legal opinion that was legally incorrect in light of the unusual posture. So if you choose to do that, you're free to go ahead and take that vote that you either decline to rule on it one way or another. And then the issue is, do you want to issue a written decision on that to follow up on it? And if so, it should be very short if you do, but what should be included in that on declining to act on it?
Okay,
So,
good.
my only concern about this, and I agree with John, is that by not acting, it can be construed that we didn't act in the traditional sense and then therefore approve it. And if that works for them, they're going to start throwing stuff at us
Exactly.
all the time. So is there a way to do some type of two-part, George, like say, to not approve it for some of the reasons that Attorney Murphy mentioned, but to somehow say we prefer to vote on deferring or something? Does that make sense? I don't know. Thinking out loud.
Like we defer making a decision until the permit is, the court determines the permit. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could.
I mean,
just-
even that is not too much different than what John already said. I mean, essentially, you're declining to act on it for a reason. If you want to state that, we can help Billy craft a short decision following up on your vote today, if you want to do that.
So it would be in a form of like a stay, almost stay to our decision.
Yeah, it would be a stay, but that
Not
is low consequence if they go ahead and they just treat it as so modified, because again, it's not provided for in the comprehensive permit regulations to defer to act on it. So either
Well-
way, I mean, let's be clear about it. You're facing it being deemed so modified by not acting on it, but
But at least we have on the record then that we're willing to
Yeah.
discuss it once there is a permit, but we're in litigation. And then if HAC or the court, or whoever decides that, okay, zoning board, that wasn't the appropriate way to do it, then, but
Yep.
at least we're on record that we're just not silent about it. We're at least saying, these are our reasons for it.
yeah, if you go ahead and take that vote, I've heard enough from you that I can work with Billy to craft a short decision following up on it. In other words, if you vote that you're going to decline to act on it because of the procedural posture of the case, I can help Billy draft that, and then you can have a written decision on it that is then, you can put into the record. I would maybe, if you go ahead and do that, I would maybe authorize the chair to sign that written decision, because you don't want to wait further on it. You want to have that on record if that's what you're going to choose to do.
Okay, is there any further discussion, or does someone want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, so Lisa's made the motion and Jim has seconded. We're going to vote to decline to act because of the procedural posture of the case, and authorize the chair to sign a letter put together by town council and staff to be submitted for the record. And so we'll do 1, 2, 3. So from Jim over, I think we've been sitting on this. So from Jim over to Elisa, if you are in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that passes. So we'll look for a draft decision or letter from town council on this. Okay, thank you. Okay, so,
And I think you're done with me for the day.
okay, thank you, George. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Attorney
George.
Haverty, and thank
Good
you,
day.
Attorney Murphy.
You're welcome.
Thank
Nice
you.
to see you.
Good to see you. Okay. So moving on, we're now in new business, which is 2026-0040, 11 Jonathan Way LLC, Barry J. Ang and Nicholas David Setterberg, 11 and 12 Jonathan Way. Attorney Arthur Reed is presenting. John Brusher and Jesse Bell are recused on this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'll be the 5 members at the table who are sitting and voting on this one. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. For the record, Attorney Arthur Reed, representing the owners of 11 and 12 Jonathan Way, two adjacent, undersized, lots of record in separate record ownership in the easterly part of Tom Nevers. I don't think everyone recognizes where Jonathan Way is. It's the easterly part of Tom Nevers over near Tom Nevers Pond. 11 Jonathan Way has existing house on it. 12 is in the process, now has a building permit for construction on it. And we're here because of the issue that has come up regarding the septic situation as it affects 12 Jonathan Way. Specifically, there is no location on that lot that enables the 100-foot separation required from a wetland resource area because of wetlands both on the site and adjacent to the site. And you have the plans, I believe, before you. That's the existing conditions plan showing the house on 11 and 12 as a vacant lot. Now, if you go to the proposed conditions plan, what we are proposing to do, I'm sorry, I have it, what, oh, I'm sorry. I take it back. I'm switching 11 and 12. 11 on the right is the vacant lot. 12 on the left is the improved property. In any event, what we would be doing here would be moving the lot line between these two lots in order to enable an area that's now part of number 12. The area that is outlined within that lot with a solid line, to be moved from that lot to the 11 Jonathan lot in order to enable that location, which is just outside the 100 feet, to provide the location for the septic system. In order to accomplish that, since both lots are undersized, we need to add an exactly equal area of lot for 11 Jonathan Way to 12, which is the area up on the north with a very narrow little corridor that you can hardly see that connects that area that is in a trapezoidal area to the remainder of what it'll be connected to as 12 Jonathan Way. Now, this does not create any new lots. It doesn't enable a lot that wouldn't be able to be otherwise constructed upon to be constructed. In fact, the point here is that it would require a composting toilet system for the house be built on 11, which could be done, but is obviously a less attractive alternative, not just for the owner, but for the neighborhood in general, and is regarded as a last resort situation rather than as something that well would be encouraged in any way by the septic regulations. So what we're asking for is actually both a special permit and a variance. We're asking for a special permit, which can also be done as a zoning administrative determination. But since we have to go before the Board of Appeals anyway, we're doing it as a special permit to allow for the two lots to be altered in their configuration without any change in the area of those lots. In other words, the lots will have their boundary lines removed, but the areas will remain the same. We're asking for a variance with regard to 12 Jonathan Way, with regard to the fact that it now meets the regularity factor computation, and it won't when that area is removed from it and the compensating area is added to it from number 11. And we are in that happy situation, I would say, where the standards for a variance can be met readily by virtue of the fact that we're dealing with this as a result of soil conditions and topography as set forth in both the zoning bylaw and the state act, as being grounds for a variance, where you have a lot that, where you have the situation of these factors not affecting the zoning district in general, but affecting this particular lot, which enables the Board of Appeals to find the requisite standards have been met for the granting of a variance. The and so again, on the basis of that, we would be asking for special permit for the change in the lot lines for both lots, and a variance for lot for the 12 Jonathan lot, to enable it to not meet the regularity factor after this transfer of land between the two lots. I hope that's clear to everyone. Dan Malloy, the engineer for the project, is here with me to help explain any questions that you may have, and that's the presentation.
Did we have any, I didn't see any letters in support or against.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So received, Madam
Yeah,
Chair.
no supporters or detractors from abutters.
No, what? No, no,
Yeah.
no, right.
And then Arthur, were you saying, and I might have misunderstood, the part that's over proposed lot 1 to be combined with lot 12 Jonathan Way, that, like, there's a tiny strip you're saying that connects?
Yeah.
Okay,
A little sliver, if you look at the plan really closely with a microscope,
okay,
that connects that to the rest of the land. I mean, basically, we're dealing with what you could call a closed system here.
Okay.
You wind up with, the same area involved, the same amount of wetland involved on number 11, so there's no change there. And it's all simply switching land back and forth between the two lots.
Can you point out that line? Is it the green? I don't see the line that creates.
I think it's like this.
Maybe Dan can
Dan.
help you.
Is it along the lot line?
Yeah, is it?
Like here, Dan, like this?
I can't see it on that plan though.
No, I can't either, but is it like that?
And
Okay.
how wide is that strip? Of inches.
Very small. But why can't that be shown on the
Yeah, it should be shown on a
chart,
plan or
on the
dimension.
survey? I mean, if we can't show 3 inches, then I have some big concerns about surveying.
So we could request that the plan, like, it will be, exhibit A will be this, but it has to show a
Well,
little.
if we do a blow up maybe of that area.
Yeah,
down to
like the little
trapezoid,
blurb.
That
Mhm.
would be helpful.
Yep.
And I'm assuming you're not creating any new nonconformities in regards to setbacks by,
Right, I mean,
doing
we
this.
maintain our setbacks, and obviously the setback distance is a factor that's driving the layout as far as that's concerned. I think the plan, let's see, I have the full-size plan here. It's a permitting plan, does that show it?
But that's a good point. Some plans will have that little
yeah.
Hmm?
magnified
and
area.
I didn't download
Okay.
the,
All right.
the numbers that are visible on the screen, this area. They didn't download any of this stuff.
I can show you.
Yeah.
The
this is-
subdivision plan that's been endorsed by the planning board already, that show, strip you're talking about, I can certainly show you that.
We'll make it part of the record.
Yeah, we'll make it part of the record,
Yeah, if you
yeah.
could show it to us, that'd be great, and then we can make it part of the record.
But I think it would be good on the final plan that's attached to have that little blow up section that shows the detail.
I'll walk it around.
Thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Just to,
Let's wait till this is,
oh, okay.
So parcel 4.
oh, sorry, can you identify yourself for the
Lloyd,
microphone? My fault.
For the record. So there's a strip right here that you're questioning,
Yeah.
and that strip is shown here in a blow up. So this is part of parcel
Oh, that's
4 here.
0.2
So there's a strip of land that runs back here.
0.2 feet.
And that
Okay.
strip
Correct.
is only 3 inches wide?
Yes.
Yeah. But next.
And that creates kind of
But
It creates continuity, so this area can be combined with this area.
And that's the maximum it can be without you
Without the
having a
setback.
setback issue.
Right.
And the regularity factor winds up being 0.42, which, you
As
know,
opposed to
is
what?
55, 0.55 is what's required. So
Okay.
it's not all that.
And that, this setback is to the
That's to the new line.
new line. And is this saying a separate lot?
No, well, it's a separate, it'll be treated as a separate lot by the land court when it's filed, to be merged with this.
So it'll have the same tax
Yeah,
number?
These have to be merged together. And
That's
these
my
two have to
question.
be merged together.
So they'll be taxed
But the land court treats them as separate lots when they're going through the process,
Mhm.
then they get merged.
And is there a plan on file now or no? Is
This
this an
plan's been
amendment?
approved by the planning board endorsed, but it has not gone to be recorded yet until
Okay.
until we come to you for variance.
So it's not an amendment to an existing plan, it's the plan. Right? The lots were created, was their plan filed?
Yes, there's a plan on record that created the lots as they exist today.
That's a long time ago.
So this will be an amendment to it, is that right?
Well, it's a new plan. The land court takes it in
Okay,
as a new plan, quote, subdividing, end quote, the lots as shown here. And because this is all in one ownership, this is one lot, this is one lot, this is in one ownership, this is one lot, this is one lot. The condition of the planning board endorsement is that they be, you know, merged together, and we have to have permission from the ZBA by way of special permit in connection with, once again, switching the lot lines on undersized lots, which is a special permit. And as I say, we need the variance just for this lot. This will meet regularity. This, obviously, with this tail coming over here will not. That's what we need the variance for.
Madam Chair,
Yes?
Billy, oh, go ahead.
I have I have my screen shared. I hope you all can see it. I have a blow up of the detail from the A&R plan.
Oh, great. Thank you. So I think if we could, I get that it's in the, would it be possible to put that detail on the plan that is part of the Exhibit A
Yes, we
to
can. do
this? Okay. Go
Just
ahead,
to
Lisa.
clarify, and I think I heard you address it, Arthur. So both of these lots are owned by the same person,
They're in separate record.
but,
The same people are involved with them twice.
and then after you get the approval to do this, they're gonna be merged together as one lot.
No.
No,
No.
Okay,
each of the two will be merged. In other words, the pieces
changes.
being switched,
Got it.
pieces that are being switched will be merged with the pieces they're supposed to be switched to.
But there are two different owners, two
There are
different
two different
parties
record owners of the two lots,
agreeing to do this.
and the owner of 11 will own all of 11 as it now is, except for the piece that's being cut out up
I
at the
got it.
top, and will pick up the piece that's being cut out of 12, and vice versa.
Okay, got it. I just wanted to be clear that this wasn't all one.
That they were subdividing them.
Yeah, I got it now.
Any other questions for either Arthur or Dan Malloy? No.
I mean, I have just a question, why wouldn't you just slide those buildings closer to Jonathan's Way and make like a more regular little flag there and not do the trapezoid? I'm just curious.
Good question.
It seems very strange if these aren't built to be creating this very bizarre, irregular lot when you have the ability to shift some things to make it work.
So on number 11, the building in the very back corner,
Yeah.
that building has already started construction. Which is why that fact they started,
That without a septic system.
they have a permit to construct a septic system with composting toilets. And then as they started, that was determined that that wouldn't work. But the building had already been started, which stuck us with the sliver in the back. Otherwise, yes, I agree. Would have been nice to pull it forward, but
Yeah,
now.
because then the
building's already there.
irregularity wouldn't be as big of an issue,
Right,
and that's the variance.
Yeah.
that's correct.
So they've created their own hardship.
Well, they had a
lot-
permit.
The lot created the hardship.
Yeah,
No, the construction pre getting this determination caused the hardship.
But they didn't know,
That's-
if I understand, they
that's a
didn't know
factor.
you didn't know you needed the relief until the permit you had for this wasn't going to work.
yeah, the existing permit, once again, we could operate with the composting toilet, which we want to avoid.
Right, but you went ahead with that to get your building permit to start construction.
It's
It wasn't like the
situation what it
composting
is.
toilets won't work. They will work, but they've made the choice that they want a real septic system. So they have created their own hardship by going around in a circle to start that other building first. I'm just,
In a perfect world, you might say that, but I don't think any of this was contemplated at the time that the work was being done. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, the soil conditions and topography as they affect the variance decision are there all along. The question is just how it applies to the existing situation.
I don't disagree with that relative to having to get the septic system 100 feet away from the wetland edge. What I am seeing is that those buildings could have shifted further down and the irregularity would have been closer on that other lot.
If we were starting from scratch, yes. If we're starting from scratch, and if they had known then what they know now,
Well, how far long is the construction, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know.
Do we have pictures of the work?
I don't have any pictures. I know the building is framed.
Just
No,
that one building in the back?
Building in the back. It does physically exist. It's not completed, but I know it exists. It is definitely framed up and I believe weather tight. I don't know the inside conditions of the building.
So did the composting toilets can still be used? Is that right?
Yeah.
Who just,
So
who
the
disclosed
hardship.
the-
Right,
sorry,
one
so
person at a
Sorry.
time.
I think we went from a hardship of a cost of storing it in New Bedford and all that to getting real toilets.
I just want to know what the
Right.
turning point was to go from okay with composting toilets to not okay with composting toilets. Was it, what caused that change of heart?
The change came from understanding how they can do plumbing in a building with composting toilets inside the building.
Hmm.
Brought it to everybody's attention.
Didn't
That-
have an idea before that, when you guys.
So there was a permit issued for the composting toilets, but there was never an actual plumbing design as to how and that would actually work to be incorporated in the building, which was determined to not be very feasible, which brought us here.
And may I ask a couple other questions in terms of that? What is in the second building in the back? How many bedrooms are in the back one? How many bedrooms are in the front one? Bathrooms, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
How many composting toilets are we looking at?
I don't have a count on how many were in them. I don't know how many. I wasn't part of the original process. I mean, there'd have to be at least 2 or 3 in each building.
I mean, I'm no site engineer, but I can't imagine there's that much complexity in a composting toilet being plumbed any differently than a regular septic system.
So
I mean, it's not going anywhere, so isn't it just,
So a composting toilet requires a completely separate plumbing system because you have waste that has to go to a separate tank that can then be stored and or incinerated. It's not, it doesn't just go down a pipe and out of the house into a
Right.
tank. It's all incorporated inside the house itself.
And that somehow changed from the time you started building it to now, that you realize that a composting toilet does not get disposed of normally?
well, yeah. And this was supposed to be on the agenda last month, but it got put off. So maybe they wouldn't have
I
been
just don't know
quite
what
thorough.
happened to the cost being shifted to this,
We're on vacation, they've just come into the situation. with the
and you
fact
found
that
a hardship.
I also wanted to get a little bit more plan work done on it by then, so I continued it.
But I don't think they're
until this
using,
meeting for that.
are you guys using the hardship argument here, or you're using the argument that the lot has the wetlands which are forcing the septic system to be able to move?
It's
Could-
all part of the same, it's all part of the grounds for variance, but once again, the hardship would be the fact that it would be a composting toilet, which is so far from an ideal situation that I think it does constitute a hardship. And the reason for all of that relates to the wetland boundary and thus soil conditions and topography, providing the basis for variance.
Question about, were all of the toilets in all of the proposed dwellings going to be composting toilets?
They would all have to be, you know,
They were going to be
any toilet in that,
in any of
on
the
that lot
structures.
would have to be a composting toilet if we can't acquire the additional land from the other lot. And it has to be done by acquisition rather than by easement, by the way, because an easement would require variances from health regulations, which are have
So they went into
even
the
more
permitting.
rigid standards.
Is the permit already issued for all of the structures and the swimming pool on the property?
It would be on number 11.
On 11, all the new,
The septic system will serve the structures on 11.
I got that.
It will serve all structures on 11, yes.
But are there building permits issued for all of the structures on 11?
I believe so.
I believe there are. The building in the back is already under construction. So
But are there building permits for all of the structures on 11 proposed on this plan, including the swimming pool? Are there issued permits?
I believe there are.
Yeah.
And all of them have been approved with composting toilets?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Funny,
think the
nobody
hard,
thought of that before they.
yeah,
No, I find it. I find something to be. I don't want to accuse somebody of being untruthful, or I feel like this is strategically possibly done this way, and like, let's get the permits and let's say they're composting toilets, and then we'll go in afterwards after we create a
Yeah.
situation that can't be undone.
I just
By
came into the
starting
situation,
construction.
Lisa, but from the conversation that I've had with my clients, who seem to me to be very straightforward, I've had good conversations with them. This is a situation that evolved, and they had no idea of it until they got so deeply into it that we wound up in the position that we're in right now.
So Arthur, did you have to go through the pre-file review process with the land court for this?
I misunderstood.
Did you have to go through like the pre-file review for this, for the new creation of these new parcels with the land court to issue the
Well,
new land court plans?
These plan has to go to the land court for pre-file
Oh, it
review.
still has to
but it hasn't
go.
gone there yet.
Oh, okay, all right. So, I mean, that's not it's not an easy process. It's not a quick process. So I've just, from my experience and my practice, it seems to me that that would be, you wouldn't want to take that on if you didn't have to.
I mean, the question, obviously, the land court pre-file review is simply a matter of, are we accurately showing the boundaries of the lot? There are no other factors for them to consider in connection with that.
Right, but
You
I'm
know-
just saying that the time that it's gonna, I'm
Right,
just, it's not like a, a quick.
no, but
process.
all I'm going to say is that fundamentally, I don't have any issue with the variance. My only frustration is that you're asking for a variance to the regularity when you didn't have to. If you had thought about, if somebody had, a moment and said, boy, we could slide these buildings a little bit further face south and then not have this weird, 0.2 of a foot strip to this trapezoid. And the regularity equation would have been much better.
If every project had every possible issue that might come up thought out fully in advance, I agree there would be a lot less business for the Board of Appeals and for other boards. But things happen, it's an organic process when you're dealing with construction and development, and this is the way that the way that it is, and we can't go back and turn the clock back.
Does anyone have, oh, sorry. Yep.
Has his hand.
Okay, Billy, go ahead.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I just wanted to clarify the record. I'm on our Energov system. The two structures appear to show 5.5 bathrooms total. And then the permitting history is interesting. It looks like dwelling permits were issued, two dwelling, a cottage and the main dwelling in 2022. The cottage was withdrawn and it looks like the main house permit was amended in the end, like December of 2024, January of 2025. So I wanted to just give the board a timeline.
Have there been any inspections
Uh, Hang on.
listed on the cottage? Probably not if it's just being framed.
There appear to be inspections that are still, there's been, there were gas, building foundation was done in 2023. There was a building final scheduled in 2024 that was canceled. So a re-inspect of the framing in 2025. So there has been some inspections taking place since 2023, along with electric, gas, and other permitting inspections that need to take place.
So yeah, so this has been under construction for a few years,
Okay.
which at least in my mind makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, me too. I echo with Lisa. I don't have a fundamental problem with the request. It's unfortunate that it, didn't come up earlier before construction started, but if we're looking back to 2022 and 2023, like with the foundation inspection in 23, it's been on the ground for 3 years. Does anyone have anything else to add before we close the public hearing? Anyone else online?
I just want to clarify, I was mistaken. I thought we were dealing with the pool issue.
Oh, no.
Some of my comments, so.
Okay. So I guess I would request a motion to close the public hearing and we can go into discussion and deliberation.
So move.
Okay, so Bobby makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Lisa makes a second. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So everybody at the table, if you are inclined to close the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to close the public hearing and go into deliberation. So do we can address the special permit portion first for 11 Jonathan Way?
And that is for
That is for,
the transfer of the land.
yes,
right?
because their regularity factor is staying at they don't have to have a variance. So theirs is,
There's
For
a
the
special permit.
yeah, pre-existing non-conforming structures or uses extended, altered, or changed, provided that the special permit granting authority finds that the extension, alteration, or change shall not be substantially more detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure and or use to the neighborhood.
Are we voting these separately?
I think it depends on, I think we can vote them.
Well, they kind of go hand in hand.
I mean, I think
Why do they have
I
to?
think we vote them together because
okay.
without one, you can't.
Okay.
So the special permit relief is limited to the lot line adjustment between the two pre-existing non-conforming lots located at 11 and 12.
The variance is for
And
the
the variance
flag
is-
or whatever you'd call
is
it.
for, on that creating the change in the regularity order.
And what was the regularity before? Did it meet the regulation before?
It did, 0.55.
0.7 or something like that.
0.55.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's from the required 0.5 to approximately 0.42. I can overlook, I can overlook that change because of the specific circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm frustrated by it, but because they have been under construction for 3 years, it's not like, they put in the permit in February and decided, we'll just deal with the septic system later. We'll get the concrete going. It sounds like they've been at this for a while.
Right,
And
and the-
then realized.
and the
that
bottom line is-
the toilet is.
Right,
poopy.
right. The
Yeah.
the bottom line is like maybe they went into it with the best of intentions, but we don't have that information. All we have in front of us is what exists on the ground, what they're asking for, and does it meet what they're asking for and what the circumstances are? Does it meet the requirements to get us to the variance?
I do feel better knowing that it was a while ago. It's not like this was done in improper order or with any other intentions than
Yeah.
they just changed their minds for financial reasons and maybe for,
Well, we don't know what that is, so it doesn't, we
Doesn't
don't
matter.
Yeah, we don't know what that is. It's
It
we're
doesn't involve pool.
basing it on what the evidence is presented before us and what
Mhm.
the applicant has presented to us, and also the information that Billy provided as to the permitting. So, do we think the existing lot configuration and environmental constraints that are affecting how they have to put the septic placement, is that going to satisfy for us the
I-
criteria for the variance?
I think I could find my way to make a motion to approve this,
Okay, and then we would just set for a condition.
given the timing situation.
And then we just want, any relief, we would want if we were to grant the proposed alteration, it would be in substantial compliance with the proposed conditions plan shown upon Exhibit A, with the caveat that I want to see that blow up of that
Yeah.
0.2. So
I
that,
agree.
so that it's clear,
Mhm.
that that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think it could be made a little clearer. You know what I mean? Could you do the whole strip in the little thing, a little? Yeah, that would be great,
Alright.
just so that you see the whole pork chop.
Right. Okay, so we're just talking amongst us, though. Right.
Oh, right, I'm
That's fine.
sorry.
That's okay.
Through you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, no, I just mean like, because we're in deliberation.
Yep.
Okay. So that's a motion.
That's a
So
motion.
to,
I'll second it.
to approve the relief or grant the relief as requested with the condition and modified plan.
Yes, so moved.
Okay, so Lisa made the motion. Elisa, you seconded?
Mhm.
Okay, so all those in favor of approving or granting the relief as requested with the condition plan as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
You're welcome.
thank you. I'm sorry, what was that you said?
What is this?
Oh, yes, okay.
We have another copy, Nikki, or do we share?
Okay, so
So what's this?
next. Oops. And Jesse, you're okay to participate in this one? Or I guess we're continued, sorry. Yeah, this one was continued. Yeah, old business.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Jesse Bell was not a member when this item was opened.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yep. That's okay. I corrected myself as I was speaking, but thank you. All right, so Jesse, you can listen in on this one as well, but yes, you
Okay.
weren't a part of the group when we started this, this application.
No problem.
Okay. P.S. We're super excited that you're here and thanks for joining us, even though I know you're so sad that you had to be on Zoom today and not in the building with us.
I know, I apologize. My car's in the shop, so that's why I'm not there.
That's all right. There's always next month. We'll see you in person next month, but welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, so old business, we're moving on to 20260039 Stanley Fawn LLC, 13 Fawn Lane, Art Gasparo presenting for the applicant. And what you just handed us, Nikki, is that posted online as well, or it just came in?
It just came in this morning, but I handed it to Art.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. Okay, and also, so we have Art Gasparo and Ryan Conway at the microphone. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you to the board for allowing us to continue this from last month to provide you some supplemental information that was provided in response to some of the questions and discussion at the first hearing. I hope that you find it helpful. What we provided was, as requested, the cost of the pool and the shipping that Mr. Conway has incurred to date for the pool that was prefabricated and shipped and being stored in New Bedford. And then Mr. Conway also obtained a letter from 8 of the 9 property owners in the neighborhood. 8 of the other 9, there's one that we weren't able to reach, all signing a letter of support for his application. We hope that that helps establish for the board that there's not a detrimental impact to the neighborhood as a result of approving this variance. The financial hardship, again, to remind you of the situation from the last meeting, Mr. Conway purchased this lot with a certificate of appropriateness for the larger recreational water feature, aka pool, and that was what he actually then purchased. It had a and so we included in the supplemental information a copy of that COA from 2023 that approved a 14 by 16 pool, and he actually purchased a smaller 10 by 16 prefabricated pool. And it has actually since come to our attention that the actual water sheet, which we believe is what would be measured, is even smaller than that at 9.2 by 15.2. So this would really be talking about 139 square foot water feature, whereas we had been using the round numbers at 160 square feet generally for the 10 by 12. So that's the prefab sizing on it, but the water edge is actually 139 square feet. So again, there had been an approval for a previously changed to a 49 square foot spa. So this essentially be a delta of only 90 square feet and is only 39 square feet more than the 100 square foot limit. So again, we also would maintain at least a 10-foot setback to all of the property lines for the pool as well as the equipment, and amenable to any other conditions that the board may see fit to ensure that there's no adverse impact as a result of the decision. Again, we believe we meet the criteria of the financial hardship and no adverse impact. Understanding that there's also criteria for the board to consider for the lot, but the lot is really what we have. It's all we have to work with. So Mr. Conway is also here if you have additional questions and need any other information. Thank you.
I have a question. Is there a building permit for this pool?
I would have to check with the contract. I think there was. Right?
Through you, Madam Chair, there is a building permit for the zoning spa, the smaller size.
So it was never updated to show the larger.
I think, if I may, I believe that it went in reverse. Actually, it was that, again, this issue came to light when I was asked to stake it. The owner had, no knowledge about this zoning. Again, this comes down to the definitions. It's maybe the bylaw could be improved at some point in the future. But this is just, you have to find under definitions in 139-2 recreational water feature and then get into the specifics in terms of the different sizes. And then in the R5 district, you'd have to have a 7,500 square foot lot, of which this lot is about 900 square feet shy of. So what happened was after I made them aware of the issue with the zoning bylaw, I believe the designer on the project changed the build or applied for this building permit, which was issued in April for the 7x7 spa. At the same time, the owner had already bought the 10x16.
Okay, because if it was submitted as a 10 by 16 pool and the building department had issued it at a 10 by 16 pool.
They may have, I don't know.
Okay.
I can't,
It doesn't
sorry,
say the
but
size? Yeah, but they haven't up, there, yeah.
When did you get a modification from the HDC when it changed from the 14 by 16 to 10 by 16?
I didn't see that. Again, I hadn't done any of the HDC permitting, but I'm not aware
Okay.
that if that had been done.
Okay. And then another question is, and for anyone, how does 139.2 describe, the size? Is it the water edge or is it um, the, the lip around the pool or, I mean, from the 10 by 16 to 9.2 times 15.2. That's the first time the water edge has been described to me as what we would go for square feet.
No idea. That, to me, that would be a question for Art, right? Is
I'm trying to get the code to load, but I think your staff.
Okay.
Hey, Billy.
Michael's there.
Okay, Billy. Okay, Billy.
I just wanted to verify they did get HTC approval. Get a lot of feedback. Hang on.
Wait, sorry, you had some feedback.
Wait, sorry, you had some
feedback there. Can you say that again?
Susan, I think you're unmuted online.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not muted, sorry. Okay.
All right.
That's my
I was
fault.
just verifying on February 21st, 2023, the HDC approved the change from a spa to a pool.
Right, but that's a 14 by 16 pool and the applicant has said that they reduced it. The one they purchased was 10 by 16. And then that goes down even further in size because the water edge is 9.2 times 15.2. So my question was two-part. One, is there a modification to the COA for the 14 by 16 pool? And then two, the code doesn't, when it's describing the size of the pool or how we measure it, is it the water edge or is it the physical structure of the pool?
So I don't see a reapplication for the pool. I'm going to definitions right now and I'll be able to tell you shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Water edge, does that just mean the water surface until it gets to, the coping or until it gets to the tile that goes around? Just the water itself.
Through you, Madam Chair, I've always interpreted it as the water surface. So where
Because
the
coping
water
could be
sheet,
this,
yeah, not the coping, but
the
where
hard
the water sheet meets the edge of the pool, for purposes of measuring the size of the pool. For example, if we are asked to lay out a 10 by 16 pool, we would lay out 10 by 16. If we were asked for a 9.2, I think that we would give those interior corners where that
Okay.
typically meets. In terms of, Billy has his hand up, I'm also trying to, I'm in the definitions too, but I'm not sure.
And you have approval for a 14 by 6, or that was
That-
the original approval.
The certificate of appropriateness from 2023 was for 14 by 16.
And right now you're asking for 19 by 15 foot.
9.2
Oh,
times
9
15 times 15.2.
0.2 times, which is a 39 square foot water surface increase. I don't have a problem with that.
So it's not, sorry, excuse me. I think it's going from
That,
7 by 7, but if we're gonna be consistent, would ought to talk about the water sheet of the 7 by 7 versus the 10
Yeah.
by 16.
So we're talking about,
7
but
by
there's two different things.
7.
One, the building permit and what was approved
Yeah.
and what is allowed is if you wanted to do the 7 by 7 spa. He
Right.
has HDC approval for a 14 by 16 pool. Unfortunately, in the R5 district, to
That's
do
not
that, you have
allowed.
to have a minimum lot size of 7,500, which he does not. He's 900 square feet
So that's
too
where the
small. So the difference is, and then additionally, from the 14 by 16, the applicant didn't purchase a 14 by 16, he went down to a 10 by 16, but he's still, that's still too big to be allowed, even if it's 9.2 by 15.2, correct me if I'm wrong, he still only has approval for the 7 by 7, so he's asking for a variance to be able to move from a spa to a, is it a large water pool or just a large swimming pool? It's a small swimming pool? What,
And
when does it change over from
Yeah.
large to small?
Is the
I know, I'm just a little,
So that's a small, or just, okay.
So
I
what
can-
is,
I can answer
what
it.
is by right in the zoning code? What is it? What should have been?
100.
100.
is the max.
So you're at so there's like 4 different numbers here.
They're at 139.
But they were approved at 49.
The building permit says 49. The building
So
permit
if we
is,
give them the variance, they have to go back and get the building permit for the size pool we approve, is that
I don't
true?
care about the HBC, but,
'Cause that was arbitrary.
Well,
yeah, I mean, they're,
but
the
the
HBC
permit needs to
doesn't,
be accurate.
yeah, but the HBC doesn't
So
deal
for
with zoning issues.
clarification, 139
I'm
square
saying
feet,
with the
that would
permit.
be,
Let's, Nikki, please. What, Nikki?
so for the 139 square feet, that would be under small swimming pool.
Small.
Yeah.
And what is,
Versus-
and what's allowed in this district?
100.
No, I'm asking Nikki. You
So
can figure it out. All right.
in the district itself, they're allowed 100. With, based on his current lot size. So by right, he's allowed 100.
Okay.
And now he's going up to 139, right? Okay.
Okay. Okay,
Just,
but
Madam
this,
Chair.
hold on, but this plan that we have that's dated May 9th, 2026 says the proposed pool is 160 square feet. So what happened to why did it go from 160 to 139? When that's what was in our application last month or 2 months ago? Like, that's what we have.
Isn't that what the HTC approved?
No, this
No.
is the site plan that he submitted with his application, that he's approved a 749 square foot spa, and he's proposing a 160 square foot pool. So do we have an updated site plan?
If I may, Madam Chair, the 9.2 by 15.2 just came to my attention 15 minutes ago. So we could, if you were to approve it, we could provide a plan that showed the pool at 139 square feet. The all along, I think it has to do with just the nomenclature for the prefabricated pools. They call it a 10 by 16. That's what I was told.
So you thought when it said 10 by 16, you thought that was the water surface?
Yes, ma'am.
That's lit too.
I didn't have any details or drawings or product literature. So we certainly could provide a revised plan as a condition that showed the pool with a water surface not exceeding 139 square feet. And we would just, for discussion here, we would take exactly what you see on the plan and we would just offset it by that 10 inches. Or 5 inches would be your offset to keep it centered on the position.
Madam Chair, may I ask
Yeah.
through you?
Mm-hmm.
So if we did a cross section of this fiberglass pool, the sides come up, but then there's a lip that the coping goes on top of, right? So when the company is saying it's a 10 by 16, that includes the lip, both times 2 for the width and the lip times 2 to the length. But where town code is water surface. So if we had a cross section showing that it's going to be 139 square feet of water surface and we're subtracting the lip, that would, in my opinion, I would approve that increase since you're already allowed 100 there. So you'd ditch the 7x7, go back and get an approval for 100, and then you could come back to us and ask for a 139, in which case I would probably approve it. I guess I'm just saying that I would approve the 39 square feet increase. All right.
Because of the hardship.
Because of the hardship.
So just, Madam Chair, just I know we probably can't use this, but former esteemed member,
Here we go.
Michael O'Mara
Yeah.
would remind us every time that it is the surface area of the pool. So that's a correct interpretation. But do we know for sure that that's, I mean, can we have a policy that we know for sure what that means? Like in the future?
Well, that's the difference between a water feature, which is like a spa, can only have a certain amount of cubic water in it to a swimming pool.
But going to Mr. Gasparo's comments, if it's not clarified in the bylaw, then we should at least have some consent. that
Madam
that's
Chair.
Not now, but
Go ahead, Mr. Ghostin.
What does she have up there?
If I may, I think it's fairly clear. The bylaw reads the word is surface area.
Okay.
So I think it's fairly clear.
Oh, it's changed.
It's on the screen.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
Did it used to be cubic water, something like that?
It was because it was something confusing where
There
we,
was a
that
ball, there was a
dumb.
ball.
yeah, because it was like if it was long or if it was, if
And
it
the
was,
benches took.
yeah, like
water.
it was, we'd
so
have to do all
confusing.
this crazy math.
Much
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Madam Chair,
Thank you for clarifying, everybody.
I just want to quantify or qualify what the hardship is. The hardship, the fact that you purchased a pool that is outside, right? Didn't meet the threshold. That's the hardship. Is that you own this.
I own it.
I mean, I think that's part of the hardship. I also think it seems that there's a hardship because you purchased something that was approved and told that it was one way. And even if what you're, what you've presented today, you're saying like that, you had to dig through and you brought this to their attention and here you are.
Further to that point, yes, I think the point is that the applicant relied in good faith and bought this lot with a previously issued approval granted from a different board, but it's quite difficult, with all the approvals you might need in the town, had no reason to know that, this sort of somewhat ambiguous part of the code buried in definitions and saw that other people in the same neighborhood had pools, didn't know, and then asked me to stake it out and found out that in fact, there's a definition that says your lot is 900 square feet too small for what you were handed a HTC approval for, creating that hardship that he then relied on for the purchase.
I think if the building permit had been amended or tried to be amended, I would hope that it would have been caught. I mean, I think I'm an outlier here, but I don't see that this rises to variance, a level of a variance. Have you tried to sell the pool?
We've tried, yeah. Unfortunately, everybody wants to go with a larger pool than a less than 10 by 16. And I just got a call 2 weeks ago that where they're stored, they can't be stored there. This pool can't be stored there any longer. And I haven't really looked at my options here, but it's in New Bedford right now where it's been sitting. And I'm gonna have to figure something out, whether it's going to the dump landfill over there or they can give me some more time. I'm not.
Could it be modified? That they
can't, no,
Fiberglass, right?
fiberglass. And the reason, I mean, I chose this because I don't have the funds to do a 10 by 10 gunite pool because there's no 10 by 10 fiberglass pool. I think it's 7 by 7 is the max. That's originally why I wanted to treat this plunge pool, I'll call it a small swimming pool, like a spa, but a little wider body of water. Because I want to put jets in there like a spa. It's only 4 feet deep, a little less than that. I think it's 3.9. So it serves the same depth of a spa. It's just 39 square feet bigger than what I'm allowed to put on the lot. I went, like I said, I went smaller than what I thought I even could do. And I acted all in good faith. I just thought that there would be no problem here. If it wasn't ordered, I wouldn't even be here. I would have just done the maximum spa that they that they build, that the factory builds. But or if I sold this pool a couple weeks ago, I probably would have just went the normal route. But the pool has to leave the yard where it's at, and we have no buyers.
I can see the hardship in this situation.
Me too. But I understand Lisa's point. Where we're putting
Oh, I
variances
do
for the
too.
first swimming pool.
I could argue it either way, but I actually
Very
can see the hardship
I'm,
in this.
I'm on the fence just because I feel like he unfortunately relied on erroneous advice, say. But that's, an agent acting on his behalf, in effect. It wasn't created by an outside force. It was essentially his team. But it's,
I have zero experience in any of this, but it's lesson learned. But it's like I went into this just having faith, and like I said, other people are allowed pools. I wasn't sure of that. What Art brought to my attention. I was going smaller than what was approved, so I didn't think there'd be any problems whatsoever. Especially when there are other swimming pools in the development that are much larger than mine. And I wasn't trying to pull a fast one here or break anything. It's just in the fact that I'm 39 square feet over. It's not like I'm 200 or 100, like it's 39 square feet. And
I know it's a de minimis amount in square footage, but it's 39% over.
Mm.
So I don't know.
I know.
It's a tough situation because I do think had the permitting gone the right way, had somebody amended a building permit to ask for this, hopefully it would have been caught.
I can't blow up the plan on my iPad for some reason.
Yeah,
Can
this
you
one?
pull up yeah. Well, maybe let's just pull it up on the screen to just review the, like locust plan or what's going on around there.
There's lots of pools.
Eleanor has texted Jim that you can't be heard because you're sitting back too far. Gotta sit up closer to your mic.
She said what?
Eleanor said she can't hear you.
Oh.
Isn't there another one more?
Sit back too far, she said.
Thank
Go
you.
up. One
Your
more.
public wants to hear you.
Yes. I mean, do we restrict them from getting a zoning shed in trade for this? I mean, if we're worried about the surface area and square footage, if we say, okay, but you can't have the 200 square foot shed, it will lessen the density of what's going on. And if they really want, I mean, they can decide really if then maybe they would eventually be going for a shed. Would you be going for a shed?
I honestly had no plans to, but
Would you agree
Possibly.
to
Absolutely.
waiving the ability to get a 200 square foot shed that doesn't count towards ground cover to be able to get this passed?
yeah,
I have a question though. Where do you stand on the ground cover?
Is it maxed?
Is it maxed?
It's on there, I'm sorry, I can't read it.
What
This
does it
says
say?
40%. Is that allowable?
Ground cover 40%.
Can't imagine.
I'd like to verify what's left for ground cover because that,
That also,
you want it to be a hardship. And if
Yeah.
they have 200 square feet left, and
Yeah.
they can build it anyway, then what's the point?
right.
And do you, again, because I have no experience in this whatsoever, would you need the 200 square feet? I thought that a 200 square foot shed doesn't count as ground.
That's
That's the
correct.
point, yeah.
Oh,
But I'm saying if you have the ability to
Oh.
build it
Then you
anyway,
wouldn't-
restrict. you
oh,
from
I
doing
see.
it,
So if I'm
then you-
maxed, then
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Right.
Can
But
you
if-
verify the ground cover?
And sorry, it should be in
Maybe
the,
building
it should be
house.
in the application.
I mean, is that a
It's 40
trade you'd be willing to make?
Absolutely.
Is 40% the allowable or the proposed on that art? It looks like the
It's the
proposed.
allow.
That's the
sorry,
allowable.
Through you, Madam Chair, it's the allowable, I'm trying to find the proposed on, what I might have.
So that's,
Electronically.
wait,
but,
I found it.
So this little,
That's not even the building.
No, I don't
Yeah,
know
no.
that particular plan, if we got, if I may, through you, Madam Chair.
oh, this isn't the
Uh,
right one.
I'm relying on plans that were provided by the residential designer, not my own numbers, but they have allowable ground cover at 2604, proposed at 1495.
So there's no hardship in not having a zoning shed.
And just by eye, looking at the lot, I could tell you it's not 40%,
Yeah.
that foundation.
And the little landing that's over the property line is a landing and it's
Is that a
allowed to
window
be
well?
over the setback, right?
What is that? Nikki, I'm sorry, will you pull that up one more time?
You see that art? That's allowed by.
Yeah, I mean, with
not
the
one
mess of the bylaw now,
Is it a window well that's like landscaped in, or is it a actual step?
that would be a poured window well, which
And
again.
that's a window
are-
well which
are
can be in the
exa-
setback.
Yeah.
Another,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it looked like to me.
Oh, there.
yeah.
I didn't know.
So can you explain what you're saying, Lisa?
Uh-huh.
on, hardship?
Well, because he's allowed to go to 40%, excluding a zoning shed doesn't really hurt him because he can build it anyway by right. So that was my only point. I wanted to just make sure we were having this. Maybe you put a restriction on that they can't come for any more ground coverage without coming back to this.
That
board.
was the next thing out of my mouth.
Restricting the lot from any more expansion without coming back to the board.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's a hardship.
That's fair.
I guess I don't know how much ground cover I have left on this.
It sounds like a lot.
Say 1,000, I would say rough, excuse me, I don't want to cross. But
But I think if you get variance relief for this pool, I think you'd have a really hard time coming back to get
Anymore.
anything else.
Oh, I wouldn't ask for any other variances.
But the restriction would be put on the property which is for sale, and that's something that a buyer, not that it's my business, but just saying, but if you're willing to trade that horse now, that's gonna stand even when the property gets transferred.
So I would be trading 39 square feet of a pool service area.
For 1,000.
Or 1,000 square feet of more building.
Well.
I mean, you could come
they
back
could
and
come back
ask
and
for more,
ask,
but
the new person could come back and ask for the 1,000 square feet, but the decision will be based on the fact that you were already given permission to build a bigger pool than you're really allowed.
Could you, instead of using it 1,000, can we shrink that number just in case? Like
we
if
don't
I'm
really
allowed-
have, we don't,
Can't,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's just a standard condition that so if you were at the max of your ground cover or right there, we would do the zone, no zoning
Yeah.
shed. But I don't think we can
Bargain. with
say no zoning shed if they have,
Ground cover left.
yeah. So I like
Yeah.
the idea of whoever then owns
I
it.
mean, why not? Why couldn't he agree to have no zoning shed?
Well, why is there a hardship on that? Because then.
Then they could just put an
they
addition
put-
off the
they could
back.
Put
Add
a
2 feet to it.
zoning shed in the back, that's not a zoning shed.
Yeah,
And
but
then we're
but it
back-
would go, he'd lose 200 square feet of his, no, okay, all right.
I don't know. I mean, again, you know what, I might be the only person making
No, you're
this
not.
argument, so.
Or maybe no
No, I'm-
other no other addition to the house?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Without coming back
the
to
board
us.
For further relief. It doesn't mean you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, you might get it. You just would
But
have
I
to come
just-
back and
it-
apply.
There has to be some sort of thing for me, and I'm
And
only one
me.
person, to make the reason for this variance, to approve this variance, that is a hardship for you. I mean, basically, we're getting rid of your hardship by allowing you to keep the pool. There's gotta be some hardship from the
Mhm.
perspective, from that perspective, so.
So would I be able to put a shed, just no addition that goes against the ground coverage? Is that what?
You would, but you'd have to come back to the zoning
even
board
for a
to
shed.
be allowed to do it. Any further construction. Am I
Okay.
speaking for everybody? Any further construction that would eat into the 1,000 you have left? And then even beyond that for a zoning shed, frankly. The applicant would have to come back to get approval to do that because you've already been given permission to do something that you're really not allowed to do by this board.
It's a pretty standard condition. It would just,
we
if
do
you,
it-
like, say you wanted to come back and like, I don't know, close in that porch or whatever, just for example, right? You want to close in the porch and make that livable space.
Yep.
You'd have to come back and ask for relief to do that. You couldn't just go straight to the building department, even though you have the ground cover to do it. You'd have to come back and ask us because we let you do the pool.
Yeah.
So that's it. You're trading,
Okay.
yeah,
Allowances.
right? Yeah.
Chair, I
yeah.
have one question under
Sure.
that scenario, and that would be a modification of the decision and not a variance in that scenario.
Oh, no, he wouldn't have to get he wouldn't have to get a variance. He'd just have to,
Modify the decision.
right? I
It would
mean,
be a special permit then.
yeah.
It's not just a modification. Well, is that,
would-
would it be a modification? Be a special permit.
Um,
Oh, it's a modification to remove. Yeah, maybe you're right.
yeah, it would be a modification to change the condition, I guess. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't have to apply for a variance. It would just be a modification.
Because all of these restrictions are just to keep it from feeling too dense and overbuilt and not in keeping with the property and the surrounding areas. So I think that's a reasonable,
I mean, just, looking at this lot, I mean, I know it's considered, they've classified it like town, 5,000 square feet.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a lot of building on the site as it is, like.
can't
It's
imagine
kinda
it
shocking
being that much more.
That they could add another 1,000 square feet.
Yeah. Is there anyone in the audience or online who wanted to, no one in the audience, but anyone online who wanted to speak?
Not at this time, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Guess I have a question.
Sure.
So if I agree to that, even if it's a shed, even if it's a 6x6 shed, I have to come back here for permission.
No,
Even if it was
if
something
if
that
it was a zoning shed, he wouldn't have to come back, right?
I mean, I think Elisa was saying for anything, I mean, I don't know, I go back and forth on that because I could see the zoning shed becoming a pool house
Hmm.
very easily, because they all do.
And
Yeah,
there's
so
spot for it.
I think, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was just thinking like just for the the density on the lot, like having the pool bigger, I think I would say, to come back for anything, because I would restrict the shed.
You would,
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine,
I
I'm
agree with that.
open
because,
to-
Just the shed.
I'm
no,
open-
no,
No,
any
any
construction,
further
including a shed, including a zoning shed. Yeah.
That,
Just,
okay, just to further ask, but like if they wanted to change a window, that's just
No.
HDC, they don't have to come to
Yeah,
us. But
no.
any additional ground cover
Ground
on the
cover.
property
Shed or
under
not.
any circumstances.
Yeah, including the zoning, including a zoning shed, including any
Yeah.
any additions.
No,
Yeah.
I get that. I think, I mean, if I ever wanted to put an 8x6 or 6x6 shed there, I get that I'd have to come back.
Mhm.
And hopefully the board would see that I'm not trying to do a pool house or a cabana or anything, or,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine with not doing any additions on the porch or on the house as far as farmer's porches or any additions. But for a little simple, small little 8x6 shed, I feel like,
Still have to come back here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you'd have to come back, but I
But-
I think that if, that wouldn't be
We don't
too
say
hard
no
to
to
modify
everything.
for.
And I just want to say, Ryan, it's not like you're the only person that would turn a shed into a pool house. It
Oh, I know.
happens all the time.
Yeah,
So
everybody does
No,
it.
I'm not
that. I know.
pointing things
I,
at you.
I wasn't even actually thinking about that. I was just thinking like the example that we're setting, right? So like,
Right.
I think
Mhm.
we're trying to find a way to have a reasonable solution for you that
Yeah.
doesn't, get you stuck. But at the same time, I don't want it, like Lisa was saying, there has to be some kind of give and take so that it's not, a variance is a hard standard to meet. And so I want to make it, there has to be a pinch, like you got to feel the pinch so that
Mhm.
it's not like,
Yeah.
oh, look what they
Everybody
did.
else
And,
will come
and
in.
we,
And then everybody shows up
right.
wanting the same
And
thing.
not to punish you, but just because it's a variance and it's a hard, if it was a special permit,
This would be
this would
easy.
be easy, but it's just not. So
Do you need to speak to, I mean, is this, do you have a partner in this that you might want to consult on this decision? Because it's a pretty significant,
Well, that's my next question. So
Decision.
if I agree to that, right, and just, I don't think it's gonna happen because I've been unsuccessful thus far, but before I can get it on a barge to come over here, what if I did have a sale for that pool, which I can't.
well,
do
then
it
you
now,
wouldn't
Then
be,
you-
then you're.
But then we're
scot-free.
fine. We just go back to
Yeah, then
whatever.
you
They
just
don't
have
change
all
it,
the-
we're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you would just have to go
Okay.
get, or I don't want to speak.
go get the 7x7 spa and.
Or,
be-
Well, no.
or he could permit the 100 square foot pool.
Yeah,
You
for
could
the
get
100
the
square
7x7 idea.
Couldn't do that anyway. It's just because I can't afford the gun one.
Oh,
so
well,
it's smaller anyways.
whatever,
But,
yeah.
Okay,
but
but
if for
then
some
you'd
reason within
come-
2 weeks, somebody,
buys it
then I go back to wherever it was, go back, right? I'm not.
and
now
get
I don't
approval
have to
for
put in-
100,
Okay.
and then you don't have to do the exchange of the 1,000 feet. Right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Right, well, you would just eliminate this variance, we just.
Yeah.
taken
We
off
just
the-
eliminate-
And this whole thing would be
Go away.
null and void, right?
Yeah.
I may, so essentially if the decision was based upon the installation of this pool, right? It's only in effect if this size pool is actually installed.
Right.
If
If
not
you installed.
Then it's not in effect.
How do we follow up on that?
Yeah, so, well, I mean, we have an appeal period of 20 days, right? We'd have to have the decision, sign the decision, file it with the clerk, then there's a 20-day appeal period, so you've got some time to, if it did
You
sell.
would- Yeah, and
Billy, 1 second. Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say if the applicant were to put in 100 square foot pool, which was already permitted, the variance would become moot.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I agree to all.
Then you
So
start
start-
weighing out what's
Okay.
1,000 square feet worth versus
Yeah. Okay.
pool that you're stuck with.
All right,
Yeah.
so Ryan said he thinks our term are reasonable. So we should, so we'll close public hearing unless there's anyone else who has anything else to say to anyone about anything. No. Okay. So we could have a motion to close the public hearing and then we can discuss the, okay. So Jim makes the motion,
Second,
Elisa seconds, all those in favor?
I.
Aye.
Okay. So, as we're discussing, we were thinking about, so getting to the variance with conditions that applicant would have to come back to the board with any construction, any additional, I forget how exactly we write it.
Is it additional footprint?
No, it's like there's whatever the words are that we use, but it's any changes to the ground cover, any changes to ground cover, he has to come back, including the zoning shed.
mhm.
But they can do 2-story addition, a second floor on a single-story portion of the building is what that allows for.
It's the ground cover,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So any
Increasing.
increase or change, yeah, any change in ground cover, including any shed, then they would have to come back to us. Was that the only condition we
Did you
said?
say any increase in ground cover? Because if they want to reduce ground cover, you're not going to make them come back.
No, any
No.
increase in ground cover,
Increase,
whatever the
increase.
there's standard language that we use for this thing.
Madam Chair, I just
Yeah.
want to make, you on this now?
Sure.
To me, I look at the hardship separately, and if we viewed the hardship component of this analysis then I grant it. Like I'm not so sure I'm game for this horse trading thing in this context. It's giving up a lot of buildable space. I agree with you, Lisa, that it's probably too much. But we're forcing him to give up a lot.
Well, but Jim, they don't have to give it up. They have to just come back to get approval.
Right, okay.
And that's we do that pretty standardly for everybody.
I mean, you stand your ground, but
Yeah.
we're not saying you can't have it. We're saying you just have to come back in front of the
Okay.
board to get permission to do it.
I just wanted to let my views be known. I would grant the hardship, grant the variance without limiting.
Okay.
Well, it sounds to me like they're weighing out their options.
In ground cover, including any shed without further relief from this board.
And part of the reason is that as we discuss this, it becomes more complicated.
Yeah, agreed.
Mhm.
Agreed.
Madam Chair, sorry, excuse me, Billy, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had one more point to add. You have 1 year to act on a variance. So if a building permit's not pulled within 1 year, the variance lapses.
Okay. Okay. So, I'm sorry,
Can
go
I ask
ahead.
a question?
Mhm.
Billy, that would include them going back and amending the building permit that is currently active to the right size small swimming pool.
Correct. I don't see a active building permit for the correct size. The only active building permit is for the 7x7 spa.
Right. So I would like to well, maybe that's not yeah.
So the approval for the variance would be for a 9.2 times 15 by 15.2, I think it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Pool and I mean, going back to the HGC, that'll get,
And getting a building permit.
yeah, but they'll have to do that anyway if they move forward. Okay, so the motion would be that we would be granting the relief as requested or as modified for the 9.2 times 15, by 15.2 pool. That the board specifically finds that owing to circumstances relating to soil condition, shape, or topography of such land or structures, but not affecting generally the zoning district in which is located, a literal enforcement of the provisions of this chapter would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise, to the petitioner or appellant. And the desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of such bylaw. And then we would add, which I think we talked about last time, the standard ZBA pool conditions that the chemical treatments stop 3 weeks prior to drainage. If they can't do that, they have to engage a professional company to discharge the pool water in a tanker and dispose of it at the wastewater treatment facility. They will have to, if a municipal water source is not available, the owner shall engage a professional company to fill the pool as needed. The pool shall not be chemically treated between November 1st and May 1st of any given year. The location of the pool, that was what I wanted to bring up. Location of the pool equipment and landscaping shall be installed substantially as shown on the plan entitled Site Plan for ZBA Application 13 Fawn Lane. That'll have to be
Is that on there?
that'll have to be modified because the pool size is not correct and we don't have any landscaping or pool equipment, which we didn't address that, but all pool equipment, where do we want to?
Aren't there regulations about where
Like it
can
just-
be relative to the property lines? I don't know if it is an R5.
I don't know, but that was just one thing. So
We just have to make sure it complies.
Yeah, which goes without saying. And then no landscape lighting related to the pool is proposed or approved, except for any safety lighting that is required. In the future, any proposed landscape lighting relating to the pool shall be reviewed by the board at a public hearing and shall be subject to a request for further relief. All work shall be done in substantial conformity with the certificate of appropriateness duly issued by the Historic District Commission. And we have placement of mechanical equipment associated with the pool shall be subject to condition at the board's discretion. So we want it as far away from the neighbors as possible and screened
Yes.
Madam Chair, just getting back to my point,
Mm-hmm.
can we confirm that we can do this compromise with a variance? Do we have done this with a variance,
What do you mean? What compromise?
like the give and take?
Oh, I think we
I
have.
think with a special permit you can. I don't think with a variance. You can. Do you know, Billy? I mean, I put you on the spot, Billy, or
I'm currently in Bobrowski looking. I'm not finding anything at the moment.
okay.
For some reason, I do remember a lot of things where we had, no further expansion allowed without prior approval. from-
Yeah, especially when we allow, like, if we ever allowed a variance for like ground cover or like where there was one with the
Setback.
solar panels or like when there was that discrepancy in the code and then or between the commissioner and the zoning enforcement officer and then we had one where there was like a big stairway that was built somewhere.
That was over the setback, I think.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
I think we need Michael O'Mara back.
Reading, I'm sorry to interrupt. Reading through it, what it does say is under MGL Chapter 48, variances are granted sparingly, and the ZBA cannot place conditions based on continued ownership by the current applicant. Based on that, I don't, your condition would run with the land regardless of the owner.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there might be some case law,
You do.
but I don't know. For future reference, I think.
I mean, that says that this isn't allowed.
I don't think a zoning board can do
Condition
this
of,
very. You can do it with a comprehensive permit and a special permit, but
The ones I'm finding, like these two are from 2019. It just says, subject to the condition that there shall be no further expansion within the front or side yard setbacks without further relief from this board. But I'm still looking. I'm just going back through the years to see what we've done in the past.
only George were still here.
yeah, something we can answer.
Maybe we should continue.
I'm looking at state website.
I'm looking at the General Court of the Commonwealth, Part 1, Title 7, Chapter 40A, Section 10. And that says, oops, under Mass General Law, permit granting authorities are explicitly given the power to impose conditions, safeguards, and limitations. A variance can only be blah, 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 blah. That doesn't matter. Yeah, it says a zoning board in Massachusetts is authorized to place conditions, safeguards, and limitations on a variance. Just says no variance may authorize a use or activity not otherwise permitted in the district with the land, which the land or structure is located.
This one's 13 Swain Street, 23. There shall be no further construction involving exterior changes or expansion without further relief from the ZBA.
This says Section 10 of Mass General Law, Title 7, Chapter 48 says the permit granting authority may impose conditions, safeguards, and limitations both of time and, this is for variances. Sorry, Section 10 is variances. The permit granting authority may impose conditions, safeguards, and limitations both of time and of use, including the continued existence of any particular structures, but excluding any conditions, safeguards, or limitation based upon the continued ownership of the land or structures to which the variance pertains by the applicant, petitioner, or any owner. So I think as long as they run with the property and aren't tied to the owner. Seems we have that authority. I'm pretty confident we've done this in the past. Have you found something different, Jim, which would like,
There's supposedly a case out there. Stevens v. zoning ZBA 4.
what is it?
Stevens v. ZBA 4.
STEVENS or PH?
Versus, right?
Steve.
No,
STEV.
Stevens versus Bourne.
ZBA 4.
Bourne ZBA.
Yes.
This talks about Stevens versus Zoning Board of Appeals of Bourne. The appeals court ruled that a land court settlement between a property owner and the town could not override zoning bylaws or strip neighbors of the rights to enforce bylaws.
Okay, maybe this is the stuff that came up.
This is the one, no, Stevens versus Bourne. This is the one from short-term rentals. That's the one where they were using it for weddings and stuff. And then the lady, like, she was using it for weddings and retreats, and then the neighbors were saying it wasn't allowed. So I don't think that's relative. I think,
That's the problem.
okay, I think the Mass General Law seems clear that we can put conditions, as long as it's not like we can't restrict the property owner, but it can be on the land. So, and Nikki, if you come up with, if you come up with something else, we'll find out what the vehicle is for us to reopen if the condition is not allowed, but
Do we have George review it?
I don't think so. I think we've done it in the past. So, yeah, which I think is pretty standard language. Okay. Let's move on because it's 3:00 and sorry, I was just say, if something does come up, guys, we will figure out how to deal with that. But I've been on the board since 2009 and it's something we've done regularly. So, okay. You're making a motion, you said, Elisa? Thank you.
I make a motion to approve the pool as applied for with the condition of the property owner having to come back in front of the ZBA for approval on any additional ground coverage on that property,
Including a shed.
including a shed, and to abide by all of the pool bylaws.
Okay. So and just to,
Go ahead, add to it. I'm
yeah,
sure I'm not
so the
saying-
standard ZBA conditions for pools apply,
Mhm.
including the pool equipment as far away from the neighbors as possible, as allowed, and from the property line rather, and screened. And the pool will have a new Exhibit A reflecting the true size of the water edge, 9.2 times 15 by 15.2.
I think the word edge is a problem. I think it's water surface.
Water surface. Thank you. And I think that's it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Good. Okay, that passes.
I'm not here on next month.
Okay, so our next meeting is August 13th at 2000, I mean, at 1 PM here, when we had talked about rescheduling that, because I also won't be. Okay, so
You-
no one's
you're
available
either.
except for Jim. Jim, you want to run the whole meeting?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, great. It'll just be Jim. No, so we should look at rescheduling that. Why don't we just be like Europe and take August off? And if, we'll ask that one person if it's okay with them. Oh, okay. So if nothing else comes in and she's okay bumping to September, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Okay,
Motion to adjourn?
sure.
Second.
Okay, so we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.